Keep talking.
I'll tell you, you got that guy John Flynn. He's in the chat, so you got to be careful what you say.
How's that?
Lauren,
don't tell me we're live.
Yeah.
We're just about now. We're live, almost.
Oh, we're about to be.
I've got the other screen muted now, and we're almost ready to go here, fellas.
Oh, Johnny heard that, Marcus.
Is everybody ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and welcome into DroneNation for June 10th, 2024. And the headline of this show is it's a big week for DJI in the U.S., particularly in the U.S. Senate this week or whatever. But we're going to get to that during the show. It's going to be our hot topic tonight. Okay, back here with you kind of regular co-hosts, Marcus and Ron here. Now, DeMarco's out at the Sammy's still in the travel team. So DeMarco's out of baseball someplace in Arkansas, baseball field somewhere in Arkansas that didn't get destroyed by the hurricane. But and Captain Ray is sitting in for DeMarco Moore tonight, helping us co-host the show. So thank you for stepping in, Ray, filling DeMarco's big shoes. And our special guest tonight, our first time on the show, is Paul Brown, a.k.a. Wedgenbigg. Did I say that right, Paul?
Yeah, you did. Wedgenbigg, yep.
And I never knew this until I saw you on the Drone Seekers. You said that comes from a video game.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
You want me to go further on that?
But Captain Ray, you had something you wanted to say.
No, I just wanted to say, don't forget Benjamin there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And Benjamin's also helping co-host the show tonight. So special thanks for maybe our youngest co-host. But
Benjamin Security, he's here to keep us all in line tonight.
There you go. Make sure we don't no data gets through. But go ahead. I for anybody who didn't see the International Drone Seekers, explain the Wedgenbigg name.
All right. When I was growing up, I was into a video game series called Final Fantasy, and two of the characters.
That's an old one.
Two of the characters in there were Biggs and Wedge.
Oh,
and when I first created my YouTube channel, it was just I wanted to share a video of my son Paul Jr. when he was just young. He was like maybe 2 or 3, and I didn't want to put my name out there. I just wasn't kind of out in the public kind of person. So I just thought up Wedgenbigg, and I just kind of stuck with it, and that's just where it ended up. And I left the channel name that since I created it,
And kind of unusual, so it kind of sticks or whatever.
Yeah, and it's catchy. I like it. I think it sounds good.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy that goes all the way back. Man, I was playing that in consoles. Back in the 80s?
Yeah, maybe
90s, early 90s, playing on the consoles.
Yeah, I was introduced to it into the early and mid 90s, I believe. And the one that really sold it for me was Final Fantasy VII. When I played that on the PlayStation 1, I was blown away. Back then, you look at that game now, it doesn't look anything like the games that play today. But back then, that game looked like games look to us now.
Wow. It's good. Well, listen, we're going to run through a few quick things. Then we're going to kind of get into, because Paul's first time in the show, we're going to kind of catch up with him. Yeah, we're definitely live now. I want everybody to keep Lauren Donauer in their thoughts and prayers during his recovery from his bypass surgery. Lauren's still dealing with quite a bit of pain, so he can use all the help he can get out there.
Get well soon, Lauren. God bless.
And before we get into too much, Captain Ray, we talked about you on last week's show. Can you give us a little update on the damage that your property sustained from that storm you had, I guess, over more than a week ago now?
Yeah. No, it's all cleaned up, to be honest with you. You have
a great video of the tree guy.
My wife's car totaled her car, and it caused $5,000 damage to my car and some damage to my roof too. But it's all cleaned up, and I gotta say, I received the check for my wife's car today in the mail, and they did it differently. I've never done it like this, settling a claim, but I was allowed to put the money from my damage on my car in my PayPal account.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I transferred to the bank, of course. But
Yeah.
Right. And
And
now
Well,
the
glad
good news
nobody
is,
was hurt, right?
yeah, no one was hurt, right?
no,
Right.
nobody was hurt. And I flew the drone, while the tree guys were here. I filmed them doing an awesome job. PK
Nice.
Tree Service. So
Ray, tell the story about the insurance claim guy coming along with the Mini 3 Pro drone.
yeah, well that was another thing. It happened on early hours of Thursday morning, and they sent the drone pilot Friday. He came. He ended up. He had two drones, a Mavic 3 and a Mini 3 Pro, but he used the Mini 3 Pro on my job, where he just flew over to assess the roof damage. And, he did a good job. I don't know how many photos he took, but I heard him clicking away. And he, one way led to another. And he's in the Long Island Drone Flyers group. So, he knew me from different posts, and I knew him. And finally, we got to meet each other. So it was good.
That's nice. That's really nice that you kind of knew each other, and yeah, great. And listen, before we get too much here, I went on a South Florida drone related thing. I do want to thank Paul for donating these pens to the meetup. I mean, this is a nice writing pen here. I mean, like I sign all my important documents with it. I'm not joking. It writes better than most of the pens I have. So I always have it handy. Nice little clicking sound. So thanks for donating these pens for the meetup.
Yep, and I have to say thank you too. Paul's a big sponsor of the South Florida Drone Meetup. He also committed that he's going to do it again next year, and it means a lot, Paul. It does. So thank you.
Yeah, hopefully I can get there and bring them myself this time.
I was gonna say, I hope you can commit to coming next year if everything lines up and he's able to come next year. Love to see you down there.
To the United States Drone Society.
Paul, excuse me, but what was your friend's name that did the show for you the night I was on? I met him at the South Florida Drone Meetup 2 years ago.
Oh, Chris, MB Jones.
I met Chris. Yeah, a very nice guy.
Yeah, he went there the year before last. He went there with his dad. He actually had a very interesting story on his way out. He crashed his Mini SE into Pedro's crotch at south of the border.
Oh, right. Wow.
And lost his drone, but it worked out because he ended up getting another Mini 2 and eventually got the Air 2S. But he had an eventful trip, and I believe he also went on the fishing trip with Captain Ray with his dad.
Yeah, he did. I got to meet his dad, and they were both. It was a pleasure meeting both of them. Really.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Chris's daughter just graduated high school. She's a graduate.
Yep. I saw the photo on Facebook.
That's why he wasn't at the show last night, because he was celebrating her graduation. So congratulations to Steffi, and I hope they had a great time last night.
Cool. Okay, well, the time for the interview portion of the show, and Ray and Marcus, if you have any questions for Paul, please chime in. But Paul, how long have you been flying drones, and how did you get started with drones? Kind of a dual part 1 and part 2 question.
All right, so I was always interested in drones. I've been flying drones for almost 3 years now, I think. Not very long. I know there's a lot of people been flying them for a lot longer.
Right.
But I was always interested in drones. I just never really thought I would be able to afford one or buy one. I got my hands on some credit from Fingerhut. I was trying to work on building my credit score, and I got some credit from Fingerhut, and I bought a Contixo. I said, oh, this will be cool. I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm going to try it out. I want to go put it up and take some pictures. I just wanted to get some pictures. Mm-hmm. I was completely uneducated. I had no clue what I was doing. There was no gimbal on the drone. It was, it was sold as a FPV style drone. The app never worked. I couldn't see it. I literally had to fly within line of sight because I couldn't see anything on the screen on the app. It was horrible. So after that, I had an issue with that drone. It tried to take off on me and started heading towards a highway after almost smacking into a building. And when the drone started to take off towards the highway, I had a massive panic attack, but I was able to keep my calm and bring the drone back and crash land it into a railing right there. And I was able to not crash into anything but the railing, and I never put that drone back up. And after that, I went with DJI. I went with the Mini 2. I was looking for a drone that was, safe, safety first, and that's why I got the Mini 2.
Solid choice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was after that scare I was worried, because not only that, I wasn't legal with the drone. I didn't realize I was supposed to register it and all this and that. So I had a drone that was over 250 grams, unregistered with the FAA. I didn't have my trust certificate. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what I was doing. And when we talk about drone safety and drone regulations, I think that a good aspect of it should start at the point of sale. There should be more education,
Yes.
Some required knowledge when you go to purchase a drone. And I think that would be a good spot to start. Instead of trying to ground everybody's drones and take them away. I know it's a totally different subject, but I think that if you're going to try to...
Good point. It is.
Yeah, let's start with the point of sale.
We've made that, me and Dan point, sorry, I keep saying point on the show before, that when you go into your local Walmart, all that stuff should be on the side of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Trust test and registration if it's over 250 grams.
Yeah, and it can't be just as simple as, hey, follow your local rules and regulations, because a lot of people don't read the fine print. They should know maybe the salesperson who sells it to them should be required to give them a pamphlet that says, hey, there are laws, there are rules and regulations that you have to follow, or you can get in trouble legally. Like a pamphlet. Why can't they issue a pamphlet with all drone purchases? Make it required material that they have to get at the point of sale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like they want to. The only way they want to enforce the law is through the people that are doing it the right way, like us, with our registered drones and following rules. They're the ones we want to get, not the not the guy buys the Walmart drone and doesn't know any rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rules?
Drone rules, yeah, drone
Yep.
rules. Yeah.
By the way, I think I know where DeMarco is.
At the particular, oh yeah, you do. Hold on here.
Listen. I don't know if anybody knows, but I made a discovery about DeMarco. I think sometime around last year when I was talking to Ron Brown. Let's see this.
I have a question for you, Ron Brown.
Hey, will you keep it down up there? My pet hippopotamus is trying to sleep.
So DeMarco did make the show tonight.
Yep, he did. Marcus looks so confused.
A little bit.
I had Ron Brown on the show sometime last year.
Yeah, and he had DeMarco make a cameo, and he asked me a question during the show.
DeMarco came on as a surprise guest.
Yeah.
Ask him a question that he wanted, and that was the little intro we made for it. So when you said that he was busy tonight, I know what he's doing. He's out fighting crime in Middlefart, DeMarco.
That's good.
Okay, so you got into drones, 3 years ago. You got to Me Too, whatever. Now, when did you get around to having a YouTube channel, posting drone videos, and even going live? When did that all start?
Okay, so I started posting videos. I have videos from the Contixo. They're my earliest drone videos. It was horrible. I had the idea of putting the drone footage with the music and all that stuff, but the problem is, like I said, with the Contixo, I couldn't see the footage on screen. So I just had to put the drone up and hit record and then see what it recorded after I got home and looked at what was on the SD card. And again, there's no gimbal on the drone, so it's completely FPV. And it's just it was a horrible experience. But I had a passion for it. I thought it was so incredible to put the drone up and be able to see things from that kind of perspective. When I went with the Mini 2, it was a wrap after that. I started making videos with the music, and then I started to want to do other things. I saw things as I was creating my videos. There were maneuvers and things that I wanted to do with the music that I couldn't because I didn't have that capability with the GPS drones. And that's when I bought the DJI FPV, and that gave me the capability to get some more dynamic shots of my videos. And going live just seemed right. You know, I started the drone group, you know, a little over a year ago, and you know, there were a lot of drone shows, and I thought it would be a good way to kind of showcase the members' work, you know, who are going out every day taking photos and sharing them. And a lot of the groups that I was in before that, people weren't really getting recognized. You know, the group leaders or the really popular people in the group would get noticed all the time, but your normal everyday people posting just weren't getting recognized. So it was a great way to feature their content, just kind of steamrolled from there. You go back and watch the first episode of the USDS show. I was so nervous. I didn't want to. I didn't know what to do. I was nervous. It was.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking for quite a while, but after a while, I got used to it, and I just enjoyed doing it.
And now you're used to it.
Yeah.
You have a great show. You really do, Paul.
Thanks, Ray.
And everybody's nervous when they first did start. That's you know, that's all of us. So yeah, I have your YouTube channel linked in the show notes here. So anybody that's not following Paul, you know, go over and check his YouTube channel out. He has more than just a live show. He posts cinematic video, a lot of nice shots from Newport and whatever. So it's not just live. It's all sorts of content over there. So go over there, sum up. Unfortunately, I do not have a link for the Facebook group, but it's United States Drone Society.
Yeah, I can share it. I actually have the group up right now. I can share it in the chat.
Okay.
You know, big thing, Paul, too,
Yeah.
is you fly with your whole family, too, and I give you a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
That is great.
Right.
And that seemed like an impossibility, and I'll tell you why. I knew Benjamin was interested in flying, so Benjamin kind of was right away. He was excited to partake in it with me. My wife was really nervous. She was afraid to put the drone up. She was nervous that she was going to do something wrong with it and that she would crash it. She just didn't know to, like, you know, trust the technology and be comfortable with it. It took her some time, but she came around. But my son, Paul Jr., he didn't want anything to do with it until I got the Mavic 3 and we had the Air 2S and the Mini 2. And then I was flying the Mavic 3. Ben was flying the Mini 2 and my wife was flying the Air 2S. And when he seen us all flying together, he really came around and then he wanted to start to fly. And he went, right, Dad, can I fly your Mavic 3? Let's start with the Mini 2.
Right.
Because
Yep.
Mini 2 is more safer.
Yeah, it's a very
Start
safe
off.
drone. Yep.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, and Lon just mentioned something about you know, the DJI and their privacy. Yeah, absolutely correct. I've actually spoken with the senator, and I think do you want me to wait to talk about that, or can we?
Yeah, we'll get to it in just a second. I want to go over that story about the sync data flight first, then we'll get into what the senator said.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, exactly, Lon. Paul's right. People want to get to this, so let's kind of maybe take things in order a little bit here. Just this announcement came out just a couple of days ago. DJI has decided to remove the sync flight data option from the DJI Fly app for use in the United States. And what most of us, most of us check that box because, our flights are being sent back to DJI. And in case we would have any type of problem with our flight, DJI would have a record of that flight on hand. So it would make care, refresh, and warranty submissions easier because they would be able to see the whole flight themselves. But because of what's going on with these two bills that are going through coming through our Senate here, well, one's coming through the 12th, 2 days from now, they decided to remove this sync flight data option so that the drone is not sending our flight records back to Chinese servers. And this, I think it's been an on-off button, but now they say a flap's going to remove it. And by the end of and for right now, you can still save the data to your own, I guess, to your own phone or to the controller's memory for now. But I think that'll even disappear at the end of this month, where there will be no saving of your flights through DJI's Fly. Mark, is that the way you understand it?
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of emails today from from different company, FlightAware. God, maybe I'm getting the names wrong here, and Aloft. And there's companies that are coming up with solutions, which is good, right? Because I don't know about you guys. I look back. In fact, that's what I use for my flight logs is the DJI flight logs, right? So I like going into the app and being able to see every flight I've done since the first time I flew my Phantom 3 in 2017 or 16 or whatever it was. So that's a big loss not to have that. So yeah, we're all gonna have to figure out something else. If it keeps us flying drones, I'm all in. That's all I can say there.
Yep.
Paul, what do you make of this? The sync flight data option being removed.
Okay, so I think that for the general user, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I don't think that many people really are interested or care about their syncing their flight logs necessarily. But even without the capability to do it through DJI, you have apps like AirData, and we were actually talking about that during my show last night. We had Draymond Crawford on there and talking about how you can use a service like AirData to still maintain that information. The only time it creates an issue is if you have like the DJI RC, where you can install applications and do that.
As a Part 107 flyer, I am required to keep flight records. So
Yes.
it's very, very important to me, and I need a way to do it. And Ron, I know, is Part 107 as well. So yeah, I see it as a big deal.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, some people will have an issue with it, or find another way to back it up. I think the people that are going to be impacted the most are the ones who are using like the DJI RC, where you don't have the capability of syncing flight logs to some sort of server or back them up. Because as you know, once you get so many flight logs on your DJI RC or any storage unit, it'll tell you got to clear out that log before you can add more to it. So I think it did create a bit of an issue, and I think they got rid of the capability for it to keep thumbnails also. The map thumbnail that was there is gone also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think they're doing that just to appease the government is what they're doing. I think they're just trying to go the extra step and say, hey, we're not interested in user data.
Oh, there's no question. That's exactly what they're doing. There's no question.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the articles has. Is this a Hail Mary by DJI to thwart the ban on Wednesday?
Yes.
And are you familiar with what DJI has gone through over the years since like 2017, 2018? When I was speaking to the senator, there were a lot of things that the senator's office just didn't know about that I was able to actually educate him on. I was happy to find out that they weren't interested in just blanket banning Chinese products for political purposes. They were willing to listen to the pros and cons. But DJI has a long history of protecting user data. In 2018, they enlisted the services of Kivu. I think it's Kivu or Kaivu. It's a cybersecurity consulting firm. They conducted a thorough examination of their drone systems and found that the users maintain control over the data collected. This is back in 2018. Every year since then, they were involved with Idaho National Lab in 2019. Government edition drones revealed no major concerns regarding data leakage. FTI Consulting in 2020. It says that DJI had an adherence to security best practices. Booz Allen Hamilton in the same year found no evidence of data transmission. And it just continues on. So if you go and do a little bit of research with DJI, you'll see that they really protect user data. So this is nonsense.
Dr. Kevin Finster, it is not nonsense. DJI is caught with their hands in the cookie jar. They have files that they have saved. Kevin Finster uncovered all of that stuff, and I've seen his data, so I know it's true. Ask John Coopy. He's in the chat as well. Now, that said, is that data being used for nefarious purposes? I don't think so. It's just thumbnail pictures and a few other things. So I don't see that. By the way, my car tells General Motors every place I drive.
Right.
Tells them every time I hit the brakes hard. Tells them every time I accelerate. When I'm out of my Corvette out at the racetrack, hey, when I'm hitting that throttle doing 130 miles an hour, my Corvette tells GM what I'm doing. So this is happening all around us.
And GM's selling your data to car insurance companies.
They've proven, yeah. General Motors is selling my data to data brokers. where the data broker could sell to anybody. They could sell that data to China. I don't know. However, the point of it is what DJI did wrong is they lied about it. They got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, and they lied about it. I wish they hadn't, but it's a fact. But by the same token, I don't think that data is doing anything that any other data has ever done to us. So I just don't think it warrants banning their products.
Yeah, I think DJI is like the person stuck in the middle between a government cockfight is basically what it is. And they don't want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think I think they're kind of stuck in the middle. They have policies that they want to adhere to, and they really want to. I mean, they're such a great product. Why would they want to ruin their customer base?
I agree. So look at Koopy's. Koopy is seeing exactly what I'm talking about here. And John actually took the time to download some of it. He looked through some. Well, the one you were just had there, Ron. If we could leave it up for just a minute. So this was the one that they're talking about, and it's older data, like John is saying,
2015 to
2017, right?
Long before they were accused of sending stats to the Chinese military.
Right. But the sin that DJI committed is they said they weren't recording data, and this proved that they were. Well, but again, I suspect it was just for marketing purposes. They wanted to know how we were flying our drones and so forth so that they could improve their products. I don't know. I can't say that for sure, but it's the same reason your cell phone records your data and your car and your refrigerator, for God's sakes, Your
Chinese-made refrigerator.
Good point.
Yeah. My point is that I don't think DJI is any more nefarious than any other company out there. I guess that's what I was trying to say in a nutshell.
Right, because what's the guy's name? He's in Russia now. He was a consultant for one of the federal things. He proved that the U.S. government was spying on its own citizens 10 years ago. Yeah, forget the guy's name. So I mean, our own government spying on our own citizens. So where do you cut the spying off out of, whatever, or potential spying?
Yeah, Tom makes a good point too. Tom says any data China can't collect, they can steal it just straight up buy from a U.S. company.
Right. And that is so true. And Lon's, I like Lon's comment too. It's just it was on an Amazon server, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was nefarious, right?
Right. Yeah, I was
unaware of this data that was collected. What was that data? What was it? Flight record?
It is hilarious. If you look up Kevin Finster on Twitter or X, as they call it now, trust me, he'll send you more information than you want to know. But a lot of it is Chinese data. They had pictures of like these Chinese guys flying it on their own air bases, and there were pictures of Chinese military vehicles and so forth. So I mean, I just think I just think they were collecting data like every other company does.
Right.
Good point, Jeff.
So hold on, Jeff Norman's in here with us tonight.
Yeah.
And we've said before, well, you guys made a point too. If China really needed drone video of a particularly important location to them, would they sit around and wait for a hobbyist drone pilot to get around to film it? They would just send a spy over, go to a local Best Buy, buy a drone, film it, and send it directly back to the Chinese military. They wouldn't wait for some random hobbyist to fly by the location they want and steal that footage.
Let me make one other point here. So I'm looking at you. I just bought a brand new webcam, and it's an Anker brand webcam. And Anker is a Chinese company. They make some of the best electronic gear, that there is out there. And so this is a webcam. It's staring right at me, right in my office. I'm willing to bet they're collecting data on every time it's connected. Has to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's connected to the internet.
You don't think the Chinese military is listening to what we're saying now, do you, Marcus?
Yeah. Well, my point is, it's just, we're in a connected world right now, so it's
drones are a hot topic right now,
and that's it. Yeah.
Only to a select few in U.S. Congress and Senate or whatever, the average Joe in the street doesn't know anything about drones sending data back to China or whatever. As I keep saying, like, well, we'll go Miss Stefanik, how many actually of her constituents in her district are actually asking her to do this or whatever? I bet very few send her letters and saying, you got to stop these Chinese drones.
Here's the point. If they showed us the smoking gun that DJI was using those drones to do something that harmed our nation, harmed us militarily, harmed us economically, somehow that it was a clear and present danger, I'd take those drones behind me and I'd crush them myself.
Yep.
You know,
you're right.
And I don't. We haven't seen that. So if that's the case, just
no
tell
evidence.
Yeah.
Not that they're going to share certain evidence. You know, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But another big point is, you know, you got to blame a lot of the pilots because very few of the drone pilots have contacted their senators and representatives. You know, that our little group, quite a few of us have, but the vast majority of drone pilots could care less.
Yeah. Lon's got another great point there about the routers. He said, you know, every one of our routers, so they know every bit of internet traffic if they want to. I don't know if they're collecting that data, but probably.
And not just that, you know, there are a lot of pilots who use drones to make money in this country. And for instance, I was talking to Dre last night. 100% of Dre's fleet is DJI products. And if this happens, you're going to completely put Dre out of work. Now, why does Dre deserve that? Dre is very good at following the rules and regulations, and he's such an asset to the community for his knowledge. You know, because he works so well with his drones. And what kind of information are they going to gain from him?
Think how far that puts behind our utilities in this country, our police departments, our fire departments, much less those people like you're talking about, that they make their living taking pictures of a wedding or real estate. All of that would just stop overnight.
Exactly.
There's no alternatives.
Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
We've kind of worked through this. You know, the sync.
Did we tell you how we feel about it, Ron?
Yeah, well, we're kind of we're past the sync flight data thing. So do we think that's a good thing? Them getting rid of that sync flight data as far as helping them get by the U.S. lawmakers?
I think it's a good thing. I think the timing is a little bit suspect. I think it might raise an eyebrow or two at the timing, but I think in general it just kind of shows their willingness to protect user data and not have this go through. Because like I said, why would they want to lose the U.S. market? They don't want to put that in jeopardy. So they're willing to do anything pretty much to stop this because this is picking up steam. It's in the Senate. And, you know, like Ray Kelly said, not enough people are contacting their senators. And, you know, if it happens, it's going to hurt a lot of people. And not just that, not just the people who do it for work, but the people who actually have some sort of livelihood, you know, because of drones. You know, a lot of this is not just work. Some of this is just mental health for people. This is what people do for recreation. This hobby does something else to, you know, people with depression and things like that. So, yeah.
So do you guys think that part of this could have to do with the fact that it's an easy target, right, for these politicians? People tend to be they're worried about eyes in the sky. Everybody thinks you're spying on them with your drone and everything. So this makes it politically palatable for the politicians, and this is a way that they can show that they're tough on China. I mean, I don't know what else it could be.
Well,
I think DJI's out of options. I really don't think they have anything left that they can do.
Yeah,
I think they've pretty much killed off any way for them to collect data, especially when this new update rolls through. What more can they do? And
they've already had the option for a while, Paul, where you could turn all your data off on your drones, where nothing comes or goes in. You've already been able to turn that off for a long time now. So if you think your drone's sharing data, just turn all data collection, build both ways off. And what's his name said that you could even do all your updates, through, you can download it to a computer and then put the downloader, so you don't even have to hook up to the internet to upgrade firmware. So you could totally take your DJI drone off the grid and never put it back on again.
Do it with an SD card, right? You can do the
Yeah.
updates with an SD card.
Yeah.
Right?
So, okay, well, let's move on to the second part of this conversation then. Okay, now, Ray mentioned about not enough people contacting their senators. Well, Paul and Marcus have reached out to their local senators, and who wants to go first and give us your feedback you received from them?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, I can put the letter up that I got, Ron. Hang on there just a second. Present. Share screen. Sorry, guys, this takes me just a second. There we go.
Bear with us, folks.
Share. And okay, yeah, that's up, isn't it, Ron?
Yes,
Yeah, it's up. Yeah, read it.
I'll
What
make
is
it
up?
big so we can see it even better.
Yeah. So Senator Crapo, and he's the only one I've heard from. I haven't heard from Senator Risch, nor have I heard from my representative in the House. However, what I thought was interesting about Senator Crapo's response here is he addresses it directly, where most of the letters that people are getting back, they're just talking about their experience with, that, hey, thank you for contacting us or whatever. Senator Crapo actually is familiar with the bill and talks about it a little bit. However, he doesn't say how he's going to vote one way or another. But I did appreciate that to what we were just talking about, he absolutely understands that it's going to affect individuals, small businesses, businesses of all type, and he even says that in there. So, at least he's going to give it that kind of thought instead of just say, "Oh, it's anti-China, let's just vote for it." So,
And he answered you, which is good.
yeah, which is good. Yeah, he's the only one that has. Yeah. Yep.
Paul, what's your experience with your local representatives?
Okay, so I contacted Senator Marquis's office, and I actually went right in and asked for a phone meeting with Senator Marquis himself. I was able to get on a phone call with a member of his staff in the proper department. I forget what the name of the department was, but I was able to speak with him, and that's where I learned that they weren't, at the time, it wasn't in the Senate. They were hoping it didn't even pass the House. But again, they weren't interested in just banning China because they're China. We talked about the rigorous standards that DJI has gone through for user safety. And, I shared with them, more on a personal level, what, flying the drones meant to me, and having the capability, and the fact that I recently got my 107 and I'm looking to turn it into a business. And I also mentioned that, and I think there's another part of it that people aren't talking about, is there's a constitutional aspect of it in regards to government takings by regulations, where it could be a violation to regulate out our drones where we're unable to use them, and the government would have to reimburse us for those that equipment. So there's a constitutional aspect of it that they hadn't even considered, and I opened his eyes to during that call. This is why it's kind of important that you get in touch with them, because in the drone community, we hear a lot about drones and everything about them, but your senators might not have a clue, and they won't know unless they have someone there to give them that information. Now, do you want an anti-China rhetoric reaching them before someone who has actual education and knowledge about drones can give them proper information? So it's important to reach out. It really is. And if you've already reached out to them in the past, reach out to them again and just say, hey, I wanted to update you and let you know that DJI has made this latest move to, kind of address this this minor concern or whatever it may be, and just update them and let them know that, to pay attention, because that's going on. So reach out again if you can.
I second that.
Yep.
Yes. Let me ask, the whole panel here. Do you think we'll say these lawmakers, the bills, do you think they're in any way working with DJI to maybe get around this, and the two sides can't come to an agreement, or they're just they're just stonewalling DJI. They don't care what DJI says or does.
Yeah, it's almost like we're two rival schools in a sports tournament. You got one side and the other side. They can never meet peacefully in the middle.
Can't meet in the middle, come up with
Yeah.
a solution.
Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if there's any of the senators or congressmen that have any kind of a working relationship with DJI. But yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I know, compared to some big American companies, DJI is not big, but you think they could at least have one lobbyist down there talking to people.
Well, I'm sure there are lobbyists.
They need more lobbyists. DJI specifically needs more lobbyists.
Yeah.
Lobbyists can influence Congress. They
Yeah, I mean,
really
first
I
can.
wish we didn't have any lobbyists, Ray, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's a fact of life.
If they were trying to ban Samsung phones and tablets and whatever, can you imagine the lobbyist Samsung would hire to go down there and influence these lawmakers? I mean, they'd have meetings all day long with Samsung lobbyists, making sure that didn't happen.
Okay, here's another aspect that I just absolutely don't understand. Now, if they were trying to promote U.S.-based companies, man, I get that. I was really excited when Skydio first started making drones back in 2017 or 18 or whenever it was, because man, all of a sudden we had a U.S. developed and manufactured product. I thought, boy, we're on the right track. This is going to be fun. Mm-hmm. Well, they abandoned us, and there's nobody else now in the prosumer space. I understand that there's people that are doing enterprise products,
right?
And I'm not an expert on enterprise stuff, but I understand that they're not as good or priced as well as DJI products are. That's just what I've heard. I'm not an expert, but I will say I know a thing or two about the consumer products. And there's nobody, as you guys know, there's nobody even close. I flew my Skydio drone day before yesterday. And you know what? The video looks pretty good on it, but you know what? It's a whole different kettle of fish. It cannot replace my DJI drones. It cannot. Right. And there's nothing else out there. So what are they trying to protect? What?
Yeah, do they do not know this? Hey, but we'll continue on, but I do want to get this question out there. We have a question from Skull 901, if I'm saying that right. He says he's asking if DJI is banned, will our drones be turned off? What
they don't have. I don't think there's an answer for that.
There's not a simple answer for that because they're not just looking to ban DJI products. They're looking to revoke their FCC registration, meaning that you could have the drones, but you can't use the frequencies in the United States. So you could potentially end up with your drones grounded. So there's no simple answer for that. It depends on where it goes.
And but the thing is, we already know that DJI can keep our drones from taking off. So I'm sure it's just a simple flip of a software switch. I don't know if anybody else could come up with an alternative app or something. You never know. But
what do you think? Do you think it runs the risk of turning people into criminals? That's what it's going to do. You're going to make.
Well, yeah, you have that issue too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go down that road.
Haven't we learned that prohibition just doesn't work? There's got to be other options to make things work for everybody, but that clash in the middle. We can't have a peaceful meeting in the middle.
Right. I mean, Paul's right. Even if they, if you can still take the drone off or whatever, we're going to have, pirate drone flyers out there. I mean, large numbers of them. So
it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. But I myself feel it's probably going to die down after the election.
Yeah. And I think Barkley said, I'm sorry, but what do you think a politician cares about more? A few drone businesses or getting reelected? Well, that's what we're talking about. It's more than just a few drone businesses. You have I was looking at, as of June 1st, I have a list here. Let me share my screen here.
Okay.
So I have the numbers listed here. Just let me. There we go. There we go. I've shared this.
All right. Here we go. Let me get rid of the comment there.
So
Okay.
I'm recently sending out more letters to other senators because there's this bill going through. And here's a list right here. As of June 1st, 2024, this is a list of each of these numbers represents a small business or a remote pilot working for a larger company, with the majority being small businesses. And recent studies have indicated that 67% of businesses using drones could fail if forced to switch from DJI products. So, there's a lot of numbers there. And what happens now is we have that clash in the middle where the governments can't get along and they want to ban DJI drones. Okay, maybe that there is some evidence of some data collection there. I don't know more about it, so I really don't want to speak more on it. But the fact is, it then relies on the constituents. You need to reach out to your senators to let them know that this will affect you. Because if they don't hear from you, then you're right. They're just going to worry about re-election. But if they know that there's backing behind it, I mean, we're talking about an industry that has nearly 400,000 remote pilots in the U.S. and $25.7 billion industry. And this will be severely impacted if this happens. So it's more than just a few drone businesses.
Big bucks. Talking big bucks here.
Yep.
So, so another note here, right in the story number 4 here, I have a link in there, the easy way to contact, your U.S. Senator. So, and that link's also in the DroneNation Facebook group too. So, okay, this has been a little heated topic, and we can come back to let's work through a couple other stories here before the night gets too long.
Heated topic? What are you talking about, Ron?
In case we still are flying drones on Thursday, we got some stories to get to.
Hey, Bill.
The DJI Fly app gets an update from 1.13.4 to 1.13.5 only for the DJI RC controller only. So don't look for that on your phones or anyplace else. That's
the RC or RC2 or both of them.
Two.
RC2, okay.
That's and that's the one that was most troubled by these updates. It slowed people's RC2s down to a crawl, caused all sorts of issues. So it got its own Fly app update. Now, a lot of people said the 0.4 one fixed their RC2s. So a lot of people were theorizing this 0.5 was for another reason. I couldn't even understand the point some people were trying to make, but it was so that the controller itself would know when to update itself. As far as the flap, I wasn't really getting. I was knobby, and a lot of the Europeans were saying that. But I haven't even messed with my RC2 when all this stuff happened back at the I'm going to say as far as back as the end of April, beginning of May. I knew it was trouble, and the only reason for the update was to add Goggles 3 and Motion 3 to, and I had no interest in doing that anyways to my camera drones, so I didn't touch these updates at all. And the funny thing is, I fly the Air 3 all the time. I've never been alerted by either the the RC2 that there's any updates for me to do. It doesn't even bug me to do an update.
Yeah. I'm going to try right now. Right?
Yep.
And you have to do it the hard way, because you have to go in to you have to do it the hard way. It won't just pop.
Oh, hold it. It says without me doing anything. It says it wants to update.
Okay, well that's good, because Europeans were saying they all had to go hunt for it.
Yeah.
See, I always wait for a day or two to do an update after everyone else does.
Yeah, well, usually by the time I found out there is an update, it's 24 hours later, anyways, when somebody reports on YouTube. So it's already a waiting process, usually for me. So, anyways, just be aware of that. I don't think it doesn't add any new features or do anything or whatever. It's just an update. It said doesn't change anything according to the European guys I've watched have done it. So, okay, next story. Marcus has received a new mini drone, the Holy Stone HS900. Now, this is, I think, the most advanced Holy Stone drone ever. We can't even go on its feature list or whatever. It's extensive. It basically, by the spec sheet, it rivals many DJI drones in that category. As far as the feature set.
Well, let's see. So camera size, it's the 1/2.3, I think. So that puts it on par with a Mini 2.
Yes.
the size of the sensor on the camera.
Yeah.
What I've been told is that it's a clone of the Wakera T210. And I can't say that for sure. I've seen pictures. It sure looks a lot like it. So that could very well be. I flew the drone the first time. It flew pretty good, etc. It sadly it didn't record any video to the micro SD card though.
Well, that's not
So
good.
What caused that? What do you think caused that?
It's a problem with the drone, Ray. I'm not an engineer, so
According to Holy Stone, Marcus used a bad memory card.
yeah. So the next
Blame it
video
on the memory card.
I used 3 different brands of memory cards and tested again and had the same issue. But the second flight, I also lost connection quite a bit. I couldn't fly it more than 100 meters away without losing connection. And coincidentally, the telemetry was all messed up. The altitude, I would be flying at about 20 meters in height, and it would tell me that I was like negative 20 meters. It thought it was underground or something. So there's a few. There's a couple of issues with the drone.
It's not a DJI drone. That's right.
Yeah, drone. Now that said, listen, it flew pretty darn good, and I'm saying that these companies are some of these other what we'd call second tier Amazon drones. They're starting to catch up. They're definitely getting better. Yeah. So we'll see. I was able to finally record video with it by formatting the video cards on my computer and not in the drone. If you format it in the drone, you just get a bunch of gobbledygook on the SD card, a bunch of nonsense. So
now, if a DJI
for right now, this isn't a mini 4K killer or anything.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's the other thing about it, and I don't want to interrupt you, Paul, but the price is not what it should be. So the full list price of the Holy Stone HS900 Sirius drone is like $599, and then of course we all know the Amazon tricks. They lower the price down, and then they give you a little coupon you can click. But that got it down to about $369, I think, and it comes with 1 battery. So you could buy the Mini 4K for $299, and it works. I don't know what to tell you. The Mini 4K works and works great. So I don't know.
I flew mine the other day.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want the headache, right? What of dealing with all those problems.
Yeah, I mean, if the thing
that's
was real
too bad.
cheap, it'd be a different story, but not those price points.
And you see a lot of people in the chat. They're talking about competition to DJI in any market, and there just really isn't any, and that's sad because first of all, I don't think that our response to DJI getting banned is, well, why don't they just have a company in America to make the product so we don't have to deal with it? Well, DJI has been a really good company, and I think they've earned their spot. They've certainly produced a phenomenal product. So competition would just lead to lower prices. So you could have an American company making drones, but if DJI is making a better drone, well, for cheaper, people are going to go with DJI. So competition is needed in this industry because drones are expensive.
I always wondered, to that point, Paul, I've always wondered why somebody like Sony or Samsung or somebody, I guess Ron and I have talked about Apple before, but I guess that would be too small of a market for them. But,
it seems like the U.S. lawmakers, though, they expect like kind of a startup company to be the ones that build these DJI competitor drones.
Skydio had a good start, and they abandoned us, so I don't know what to say.
And the hobbyists, yeah. So,
Sony dropped the ball.
I agree with Tom. Sony, they came out with that commercial product for.
Well, they have a drone that'll carry their full frame Sony sensor cameras. Yeah. Hey, Paul, on the related note of the DJI band, the replacement, do you think that those drones, like I forget the name of it, that Air 3 clone that a couple of people have reviewed, and a couple of people have the Mini 2 clone. Yeah. Do you think those drones will be the end around for us to still get DJI products in the U.S. but under a different white label drone? Do you think that's going to work?
Oh, I don't think, I think that on paper, yes, it should, because it's not a Chinese company that's making them, and you kind of cut out that risk. But it's still Chinese technology. Didn't they just sell them?
Yeah, I understand, but you know what? I think our politicians, I hate to say it, that aren't the smartest and don't react the fastest. So it's going to take them a while to figure that out. You know what I mean? We'll all be flying these white label drones for years before they get it all figured out.
Well, about 5 years to be exact, because the Drones for First Responders Act disallows Chinese components as well.
Yeah,
and those drones have them.
Do you think if the bill gets passed Wednesday, the first one, do you think the other bill will be a slam dunk then, getting passed?
I hope not.
If it passes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think the writing's on the wall at that point.
But the crazy part is, if you think about just 5 or 6 months ago, the majority of people wouldn't believe this would be happening. And now we're like, wow, is this really going to happen? So, you just got to, if it really matters to you, reach out to your local senators. If it really matters to you, reach out. It's not going to hurt to try.
Lon's saying,
again, DJI, the other thing is DJI should be taking out full page ads against this, really.
Well,
people still read the paper.
They have used their social media, but Ray's right. Maybe go more than the social media.
That doesn't work here in the USA anymore right now, Ray Kelly. If you post something that they don't want you to see, it disappears. That's the sad part. That's the reality of the way
it's all about
paid
marketing.
Not in the newspaper.
Yeah, paid marketing.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but I like Lauren's comment. Lauren and I had a great time at the Power Egg booth at CES 2020.
U.S. drone, Marcus?
What's that?
U.S. drone? Power Egg?
No, it is not. It is not. No. But Lauren was being kind of a smart aleck there.
Yeah. Okay. I got another quickie here. I had an issue with my DJI Pop 3. I don't have to show it to you because I've already sent it in back to Fort Worth, Texas. We're 8 miles from Mike Wright, where he lives. He was telling me the magnets that hold the screen in place went bad. That's a common problem. A lot of people had that happen when they first got the camera. I guess I didn't use mine enough or whatever. It just happened to me last week. And it happened. It did slowly happen. It went from working perfectly to not working at all in one use. But again, I've already, when I say I contact DJI, all I did was go to the DJI.com support, put my account in. It had all the products I ever owned. It knew my Pocket 3 was still under warranty. I had the option to do use my care refresh, but I didn't need to because I didn't break the product. It just stopped working. So I sent in for a warranty repair. I sent it out like Friday. They don't have it yet. I think they're going to get it tomorrow. So I kind of I've been making videos about it, short videos about the journey with the Pocket 3. So hopefully, it all goes smooth. And even DJI Support has commented on some of my YouTube videos about it. So just wanted to keep everybody up on that. Marcus, you have something?
All updated.
Updated.
Yeah,
that's good.
So the only device that accepts the 0.5 of the Fly update. Now I want to go to Paul for a story here. This is kind of an older story, Paul, from about 2 months ago. I guess, Ray, this happened right after we got back from maybe Spin Up, the Great Florida Drone Meetup. Somebody on Amazon advertised the Mavic 3 Pro for $799 or whatever. I think, hey, Kessler, he kind of he had the story right up, and several people in the show, I think Ray and Paul both put their, orders in this drone. And many people in the chat here, I don't know if John Flynn's up, but many people in the chat got their orders in for it too. And as far as I know, the only person I know that got one was Bill, the drone reviewer. Paul, tell us your story about the $799 Mavic 3 Pro.
Yeah, I ordered the drone. It was too good of a deal to pass up. If I got the drone, it was at a great price. If I didn't get it, it didn't cost me anything because I don't actually get charged until the product ships.
Yeah.
So
right.
I made the purchase, and the day that it was supposed to arrive, it still said, it hadn't shipped yet. They were waiting on tracking information. I knew at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get this drone. I contacted support a couple of times to try to push the issue. They wouldn't do it. I just gave up. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to go through all the headaches that a lot of people were going through trying to get it. Yeah, but I never ended up getting it. And actually, Ray Kelly ordered his through me. I was the one who told Ray Kelly about it. And
you did.
And it was funny too because it showed on my Amazon affiliate account that he had bought the drone, but I made nothing off of it, nothing at all. He never got his. I'm taking it. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
very disappointing to say the least.
Yeah.
You guys didn't even get the gift cards that some people got?
No.
You know what? They offered me the gift card and I didn't take it. You know why? I didn't take the gift card because I said if they ever go back and they decide that they're going to make this right, if I take the gift card, they're not going to send me the drone. They're going to say I settled. So I just let it ride.
Yeah.
That was the only way. The only way I wanted to come out of that was I was either just going to let it ride and let it go, or they were going to send me the drone. One or the other. I didn't get the drone. I just let it ride after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's funny too if you go to my channel and look at my videos right around that time. Jeff Norman, I think I've seen him in the chat. He's here tonight. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's there.
Jeff had sent me this video of him dancing, and I had an idea, and I did a little video skit on the drone sale. So if you go to my channel, maybe I'll share the link with you after. You don't want to play it on here because you'll get a copyright.
Johnny got a $50 gift card out of it, so that's good. Good for Johnny.
Yeah. Hey, Bill Thomas in the chat here, he's saying Wednesday's just a committee meeting. So that means there's not a final vote on Wednesday then?
I don't know.
For some reason, I thought it was the 27th. Was that I thought it was the 26th or 27th.
We keep hearing all these dates, but we never know what that date really means. Whether that's the day it's decided or not. So yeah. Hey, they're talking about a little bit about TikTok here. I know TikTok's already in the process of suing, I'm going to say, the U.S. government over this ban or whatever. I guess TikTok, are they a much bigger company than DJI? Does DJI have the ability to make the same type of lawsuit against the U.S. government?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that one either. TikTok has a lot of influence, though. I'll tell you that.
Not enough to stop the American government from banning them.
Yep.
So, okay, Paul, Paul asked if he could put this on the agenda tonight. I do want to get to it here. We got the 10 o'clock hour right now. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And Paul would like to say a few words on the subject. Paul, I'm going to take this comments off and give you the floor here for a few minutes.
So I talk about it during my show every week. Especially this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't really give it a month. I think mental health matters all the time for everybody. And I always like to leave off on the show telling everybody that mental health matters. And if you're struggling, you're having a hard time, reach out and get some help. You can dial 988. You can reach out, hopefully, to friends and family. If you don't have them, you can reach out further than that. You can reach out to your community. You can reach out to the police, hospitals. Reach out and get some help. Don't do it alone. I know a lot of people are struggling, especially the stress this can put on. We talk about flying drones and mental health. I know there's a lot of people who find a lot of solace in flying drones. And the chance of losing their drones and not being able to fly them is a scary thought.
First they're banning TikTok, now they're banning drones.
Now they're trying to ban drones. And this has become a hobby that's actually united my family. And, before I got involved with drones, I didn't know what I was going to do after, being just other than being a dad. When my kids grew up and they're out on their own, what am I going to do after that with my life? And I found drones, they made a profound impact, so things like this really matter to me. But just important to have that outreach. If you need help, reach out, get help from somebody, and don't do it alone. I just want to make sure that we touched on that tonight. So thank you for giving me that.
No, that's a good point. I mean, like, for instance, when I was a young man in the 80s, I had panic attacks. and it was before there was any kind of mental health awareness for things like all they did was for me was prescribe me some medication that did not help at all, whatever. I basically just had to work through it on my own. Eventually, he talked to other people who had maybe the same problems, but there was no organized way of helping anyone. Doctors didn't even fully understand what you were going through with these panic attacks. But I would get to the point where I couldn't even swallow whatever, I would have sometimes the bad. So yeah, it's good to see things have come as far as they have since I was a young man.
Yeah.
So
I give you a lot of credit, Paul, for promoting that on your show. You've probably saved lives and you don't even know about it. You really have.
Yeah, now can we take a moment too to mention Keith Russell? Last week we lost Keith Russell. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat who know him. I tried to mention it last night. I kind of broke up about it, and I didn't really get out what I wanted to say. But Keith Russell was a drone enthusiast. He really loved the drone community. He was a police chief. He's a military veteran. Very busy guy, so he wasn't able to be as active in the community. But I got to talk to Keith personally a lot of times, and he was a real inspiration. And the people that knew him, I'm sure, were inspired by him and what he went through. And we lost him unexpectedly last week. So I just wanted to give a moment to say condolences to his family, and I hope that he rests in peace.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting him on my way back from Florida. I reached out to him on the ride up, and he took time to meet with me and my wife at a McDonald's, and he was really a really nice guy, good people, as they say, and he was coming to the South Florida drone meetup, believe it or not. And what a shock, Paul. Again, you were the first to tell me about it, and then I reached out to the Greencastle Police Department, and obviously I confirmed it, and found out that it did in fact happen. I was in shock. I really was in shock, and I still am. I'm still very emotional about it.
Yeah, I tried to break it to the community last night, and I had a rough time doing it because, like I said, a lot of people might not know Keith because he wasn't as active in the community. But that's just because he was a busy guy. But he listened. He tuned into my show every week, and we'd have messages. He'd message me and say, "Hey, thank you for talking about this," and he'd tell me about he had an amputation to his leg, and one of the things that I found crazy and inspirational about this is he lost his leg. He had some health issues. And one of the only things he could say was, "I'm going to have this surgery." This is one of the last conversations I had with him. "I'm going to have this surgery. They're going to give me this really great prosthetic, and I'm going to be able to shoot hoops with my son again." Mm-hmm. So his inspiration was to be able to spend time with his kids and be the dad that he wanted to be. And that's the kind of person that Keith was. And a lot of people in the community just were not exposed to that and didn't get to know that side of Keith. So he was a real loss, and I'm saddened for his family and his friends.
Thank you for sharing that. I see we got Ross Langdon from down there and down under in Australia joining us in the chat tonight. Marcus, have you followed John Coopy and Jeff Durham, a couple others, talking about the DJI Fly app not being in the Google store?
Yeah, so you can't. So if you've got a Google phone, you can't get it out of the Google store. And John explained it better. He was talking about their binary packer SecNeo, he says, and they couldn't. It's in the Apple app store, so I don't know, but Google won't even let it in their store. So
I got it right here. A Chinese binary packer called SecNeo.
Yeah. But anyway, that is that. So.
Hey, look right here's your buddy, Drone Guy 42 Adventures here, Angel.
Angel, how you doing, Angel?
You get to fly with Angel somewhat regular up there in New York area, right?
Yeah, no, he comes out, and I've been to Jersey to fly with him, and I took him. Well, I met him out at a secret spot in the Hamptons last Saturday.
The Hamptons, yeah, at your state out in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
I believe Angel also gets his son involved with flying now too, right? Was that Angel flying with his son?
Yeah, yeah. I met his whole family. Actually, his wife came and his 3 children, and you know, that was a pleasure too for me. But he got a great couple of flights in. He even flew his Avata out there. It was a very windy day, by the way. It was a very windy day. I mean, his Air 3 handled it no problem, but he had doubts maybe about putting up that Avata, and but he did. But he stayed low, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was fun. It really was. We had a fun morning.
It's been quite windy on the East Coast here the past few days or the past week. Hey, Ray, is it any truth that you found a new car for Cheryl?
Yep. She got a new car. She got a replacement. Yeah, she did. She's very happy. Yeah.
Good. Because her car took the worst of the brunt of the tree coming down, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah, protected my car. Put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ron, there's a couple things coming
Go
up.
ahead.
Let's a little bit happier talk. Talking about let's talk about flying drones and having some fun. A mutual friend of ours loaned me the FEMI Mini version 3.
Oh, there's that new FEMI.
Yeah, he loaned it to me, and so
the orange one, actually, huh?
Yeah,
there's a new one out.
Oh
yeah,
it's big news. Yeah, well, it's not big news because nobody really had it until Gorilla Man put a couple excellent videos up last week, but it's been out, but nobody put any real video, no U.S. language videos up on it. Anyway.
Really? I wonder.
So I'm going to review the heck out of that drone.
Yeah.
Do a deep dive into it, and just for giggles today, I've got the version 1 and the version 2 FEMI Mini. So I got both of those out and flew them today, just to kind of get the cobwebs out of my brain on the FEMI Navi Mini app. Remember where everything's at, and how it all works. And it reminded me that it's a pretty good flying drone. So I'm anxious to try that one.
Marcus, didn't you always comment on the speed of those FEMI Minis?
It was remarkable today. I noticed the same thing. Just in normal mode, not even in sport mode, the thing was flying at 16 meters per second, which is about 35, 36 miles an hour, something like that. So that's a mini drone. I mean, that's.
So needless to say, you're going to send it over the canyon.
Well, very likely there may be a canyon flight. Captain Ray.
Yep.
Okay, look at this. Is for Mikey, by the way. Mikey.
Nice. Oh, look at that muscle.
It's going to give you a muscle.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to your flight, Marcus.
Yeah. So, Ron, the other thing is, and Ron and I have talked about this, but I talked to the folks. You guys remember Banggood?
Oh, yeah.
I still have a contact at Banggood. This is a brushless motor GPS camera drone, and it sells for about $30 on Banggood. So I don't know what'll happen, but I'm going to try it out, and we're going to see. We're going to see if it flies. Ron knows our friend Jim over at Quadcopter 101. He tested this guy, and he said it worked okay. Right? You're not going to be Cecil B. DeMille. It's not going to get great video. There's no gimbal. There's no. But you know what? For $30, if it flies and it's stable in the air, hey.
Right.
When Paul was talking about his first drone a little while ago, and that he didn't get good video because no gimbal, Paul reminds me of my old days when I first started flying like a SEMA drone. And when I wanted to get good video, I would stop the drone and just take the video while the drone wasn't moving. I could get much better video that way. Just stop it and kind of yaw around a little bit and grab some video. And of course, pictures came out better than video.
So, Ron,
yeah,
you were hoping for 720p? No, 480 on this boy.
Just like
480 video.
You watch on your own standard definition TV.
Yeah.
Well, if they ban DJI, you know what to buy next.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus and I talked about that today, Paul. Now, this first bill, the bill that's in committee or whatever Wednesday, that's the DJI drone bill, correct, Marcus?
That's the one that bans DJI. The countering Communist Chinese Drones Act. I get to go. I got that.
But the other bill with the tariffs, that's
That's a
a
tariff.
that bans
That
all
is
Chinese drones, right?
Terrible misnomer on
Yes.
that bill. That's the Drones for First Responders Act. And the sad thing about it is help me out here, Captain Ray. I think it's after 4 years, it quits paying the first responders. It does no longer subsidizes their drones. So
Right. But it's one of those things where first responders, law enforcement, and whatever search and rescue first responders should have the best drones. I don't care. Really.
Right.
To use an inferior drone to do that kind of work is wrong.
Yeah.
I think in my discussions with Vic, we were talking about how drone technology is advancing so quickly that people who use drones for business, they, in general, every 18 to 36 months, they need to update their fleet in one way or another, and show up at a job site. I can do 480p. We can get really close.
Yeah. I mean, Captain Ray, can you imagine one day you're out there, maybe law enforcement or fire, and you're using like a DJI Enterprise drone to, maybe find a lost person or maybe see some perpetrators or whatever, and the next day you're doing it with a Holy Stone drone.
That wouldn't be good at all.
Yeah,
Hey, Ron,
Just put a GoPro on a helium balloon.
Yeah, there you go. We're on a kite. Another friend of ours, Ron, sent me a message and said that we could expect more rumors next week on the next version of the air drone. So
okay, could they hurry it up before it gets banned?
Well, that's why they're delaying until the leaks until next week. No joke.
Yeah, it makes sense. So the first phase of it, say if this committee, anyhow, the first bill goes through, the countering CC goes through. Okay, now Marcus, all your second tier drones will still be good. You'll still be fine with your FEMIs and your Holy Stones and your
because that one is just focused on DJI.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you don't fly DJI, you'll be good with the countering CCP bill.
I don't know if you'd be good, but yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't know DJI,
you'd be able to fly the FEMI and Captain
like Ray Striker drone will be good.
Yeah, my Striker drone will be good.
And that's how they're going to do bridge inspections now.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to clarify. The reason that I think this is important for me to review on my channel is just for people with kids and stuff, or say you're kind of thinking this might be a fun hobby, but you're not sure. You don't want to spend much money. For $30, you can find out if it's even something you're remotely interested in, right? So that's kind of why I like to review that kind of stuff.
Now, if this ban goes through, and it does it also affect other drones besides for DJI drones? Any drones that are manufactured in China, right? Would that be safe?
That's the next, the Drones for First Responders Act, not just it's all the components too. So you couldn't even build your own with parts from China.
Yes, Mark, wait. Well, we weren't joking too much. As far as Marcus, I understand that the first bill that's under consideration, is battling CCP, it only covers DJI drones.
Right.
So Holy Stones will be good if that bill passes, but it's a second bill that Holy Stone would have to worry about.
Right.
But we said earlier, probably if the first bill gets passed, the second one will get passed too.
Yeah, I'm not a politician. I wish I knew, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking the same people that are voting, if they're going to vote to ban DJI drones, and somebody else says, "Well, let's ban all the Chinese drones." Yeah, well, why not? We banned the other ones. Let's just ban them all. I mean, that's just
TV's the next.
It's a great point.
And cell phone.
The problem with a lot of the voting is that some of these politicians may have just briefly read the bill. They just do what the party boss tells them. If the party boss says vote for it, they may vote for it without even really reading it over that well.
Yeah.
That's what happens a lot of times.
That's
Yep.
the problem. People, it's like voting. It's like you don't think for yourself down there.
Yep.
Vote in group blocks or whatever.
You vote for my bill, I'll vote for your bill.
Yeah.
Again, that's why it's important that we write our congressmen so that at least they know that there's somebody out there looking.
Hey, Marcus, we got that young man Bill Grace in the chat here tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Now, Bill says, "What about Alltel?" Well, Bill, if the counting CCP gets passed, that won't cover Alltel. You'll still be good with your Alltel drones, but you have to watch out for the first responders bill. That's the one that could ban your Alltel drones.
I'll tell you the other thing that we all have to worry about is local legislation in our cities and towns where they're banning taking off with drones. That whole thing that happened in New York, and Eddie just posted on Twitter a little bit ago. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, you're talking about. Yeah, that's weird. So what I didn't understand about that, Paul, was the guy made a comment, and I presume he was like some kind of city official, and he made the comment that you could potentially go to jail. Well, if I understand that rule right, it was just $100 fine. So that go to jail thing kind of confused me.
Well, and I think another part of the issue was it was a recreational pilot who was arrested, right?
With freaking Mavic 2, or Mini 2, a little
Mini recreational pilot with a Mini 2. I'm unaware of what the circumstances were leading up to it, but the NYPD deputy commissioner posted on their Twitter earlier today and said flying personal drones without proper authority in New York City puts New Yorkers in danger, and it will put you in a jail cell. Today, NYPD news officers arrested a suspect flying an unauthorized drone at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Lawlessness will not be tolerated in New York City. And this was posted from the deputy commissioner's Twitter page. Now, I
wonder how that drone pilot was flying now.
Yeah. No,
was he flying recklessly, or was he just flying without a permit type of thing?
Yeah, I'm unaware of what led up to that. I think the post maybe is lacking information, and it's just I think it's irresponsible. I think to post it like that. But I don't know. The pilot could have been flying over people and violating the laws. But I know that New York has this thing now where they basically want people to pay for land use. Pretty much what it boils down to.
Right.
And it's really making it hard for drone pilots in New York. But to say something inflammatory like that,
see now that Johnny's comment right there, where you're not allowed to fly over the campus. There's no way they can regulate the airspace.
And Johnny even said they're gonna arrest people.
Right.
But of course, if they're not on the University of Michigan property, they're gonna arrest them in.
I could see the law going into
property. How's that going to go?
Taking off and landing, but
I think even if you fly from, we'll say, outside of the campus,
they're still
going to come and arrest you.
Yeah,
right.
How can a college campus police arrest people that aren't on the campus? That doesn't sound very legal, Ray.
Well, again, it depends on how these people are flying, how these drone pilots are flying, really.
It's a case-by-case basis. We can't say that it's one way based off one thing, because I'm going to guess that he was probably flying like he shouldn't. Maybe no education. Maybe he had no idea what he was supposed to do or the rules that he's supposed to follow. Maybe he was flying over people. But I think it's part of a bigger problem in New York is the way they're cracking down on drone pilots, because we're not just talking about, someone flying like an idiot could potentially be, they get caught in trouble. But how is this going to affect just a recreational pilot, someone just trying to do business in New York, and they have to jump through these kind of hoops just to take off?
Right.
At what point does it become regulation and then it change to tyranny? At what point does that happen?
Angel's letting you know, Paul, that the pilot, he sure was flying over people at the Puerto Rican parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I figured.
which is not good. However, I sure don't think it's something that somebody should get thrown in jail for.
Especially nobody
with a
got
mini
hurt.
drone. You know, if he was dive bombing people with an Inspire or something, maybe,
or even a 100-mile-per-hour FPV drone or something. Hey,
Yeah.
I forgot to put this on the agenda last week. Maybe it's not a big story, but dangerous story. Greg from Pilot Institute, he actually got a waiver to fly over people. Now, it only was with a certain amount of drones under certain conditions, like
Right.
prop cars or enclosed props, whatever. And it's not just a one-time waiver. He got like an unlimited waiver to fly over people. So, like,
Yes.
for instance, if Greg from Pilot Institute would have been at, well, maybe not New York City because they have their own role, but at a parade or something, he could fly over people with certain drones.
But again, that's for Part 107 pilots too, not really addressing recreational pilots. I believe that waiver.
Yeah, I don't think a rec pilot could get that.
Right.
They couldn't get that. Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I've got to get rolling, but
Okay. Well, we're about I think we covered about everything tonight. So you want to just say our goodbyes now?
it works.
Yeah. I want to thank Paul so much for coming on the show tonight. Join us, Paul. I'd love to have you back. Soon, and we talk about maybe how some of this, this drone banning plays out in the coming months. And for people who weren't here before, I do want to recommend everybody go to Paul's YouTube channel. I have it. The link links in the show description here, and he dropped a link in the chat to his Facebook group, the United States Drone Society. So be sure to follow him up on the socials if you can. And and thanks a lot for coming on. Ray, thanks for joining us tonight, taking the slack up for DeMarco, who's busy with his baseball team. You're a great contributor to the show, Ray. Love it having you here. Love all you do for the community with the meetup or whatever. One of those popular events of the year. So even all the mini meetups you do in the New York area, I just can't say enough about you, Ray.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks. Always an honor to be on with you guys.
Always an honor to have you. And Marcus, couldn't do the show without you as the co-host, the MVP around here. And of course, our other MVP, DeMarco, he's probably out watching Sammy hit a home run right now.
Where's DeMarco?
He
time.
Well, he was here today for a few seconds, Marcus. So Curtis and Paul, he was here for a few minutes. And, of course, I want to thank everybody who joins in the chat, all the comments, suggestions. So I know it was a lot of tough conversation here with these drone bans coming up. Is going to be a tough summer, really, working through all this. But hopefully, we can contact. I'm going to go around the room and everybody say their goodbyes now that I've said what I said. Marcus?
Well, here's what my parting shot is going to be this. Write your congressman, make your views known, and see if you can save our hobby. Secondly, pay attention to local legislation in your towns and cities. I know St. Louis just passed an anti-drone law. There's that thing in New York, and they can legally tell you can't take off in city limits. They can do that. Yep. They can pass those kind of rules. Yep. I feel so fortunate I can fly in city parks, county parks, state parks, etc. here. I know other places, because people haven't been vocal enough, so you have to pay attention to all of it. And without getting to be too much of a downer, let's just all do what we can to save this hobby that we love so much.
Thank you, Marcus. Good night. Paul, any closing shots here?
Well, I want to thank you for having us on here. I appreciate it. I was happy to bring Benjamin on here with me.
Hi,
and
Ben.
if you have family, try to get them out to fly with you. Even if they're not going to fly, bring them with you just for the experience of what it's like to go out on a trip. You might just sway their opinion and get some of your family to fly with you. And if you're looking for a way to make your voice heard better, if you think that you can't make a difference in this matter, you can. It just takes a lot of work, and it takes a collaborative effort by a lot of people. So if you need help, having your voice heard better, check out the Drone Advocacy Alliance. We really didn't mention that tonight, but that's a great resource for information and ways that you can help. Vic Moss is a treasure trove of knowledge in this department and can really help you because it's always important that senators and things like that hear from their own constituents. So to talk to your local senator or Congress people was really what matters most. Just always make sure to get out there and try to find a way to have fun, even when you're busy working. Try to find a way to sneak a shot in there just for recreation or something. Just have some fun with it.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Good
You wanna
night.
say anything?
Ray, any parting shots here?
Well, thanks again, Ron. I appreciate it. And Paul and Ben, you guys are great guests as usual. You know, I love United States Drone Society and DroneNation. You know, you guys are my favorite drone show. So
Thanks for saying that, Ray.
the only thing I
Ray-
want to say is I want to give an invitation to everybody to come to the South Florida Drone Meetup next April 4th to the 7th. We're up to 96 people signed up.
Wow.
And, you know, it's going to be, I guarantee it's going to be another great time. And
Come on
thank
down,
you.
and Marcus, I want to shake your hand right on Jensen Beach Causeway there.
Right.
Ray, who do you have on the show Thursday night?
We got Tom Dowling. He's in the chat tonight. And
okay.
Bob
Part of-
Dempsey.
part of the
And they're
Vegas
going to give
meetup.
us more
the
information
Vegas
about
meetup.
the Vegas meetup. Yeah. Mhm.
Good.
I've already got my reservations for both, Captain Ray. I've got
And-
my
and Paul
reservations
Frank,
at the Hilton and my reservations set up at the Green
Nice.
Valley Ranch. So we're
There you
good.
go. And Ray, what time's your show on Thursday?
7 p.m. Yeah,
Eastern
7
Standard
p.m.
Time.
Thank
Best
you
show
again
on
for
Thursday.
having me.
All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you. We'll be back next Monday, hopefully, and with another show. And maybe DeMarco will be here. Maybe he won't.
Maybe not.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Hitting the end stream button here.